welcome back to the Socially Distant Lawyer. I'm Mitch Hayes.
And I'm Greg Vinogradsky.
And on today's episode, we want to recap a lot of the conversation that we've had over the past couple of months, specifically as it concerns condominiums and as it concerns businesses. So what we wanted to do now that we've spent a couple months doing these socially distant episodes is just do a recap. What's gone on from what we've talked about and what we've learned. So Greg, why don't you start us off and talk to us about what's going on in the condo world?
Yep. So the reopening phase for community associations has been slow, which I don't think is a surprise to anybody. Associations, for good reason, are hesitant to reopen, given a lot of their coverage issues that they have under the general liability policies, specifically for viruses. Having said that, there is still some exposure there for D&O policy in choosing not to open. Under the directors and officers liability policies, if there's a bodily injury, that claim is not covered. So carriers, rumblings are that they will start denying coverage in those cases under the guise of bodily injury or an alleged possible bodily injury from COVID-19 as being the reason for not reopening, therefore coverage is denied. So a lot of these things are exposing associations to liability, and they're making every association nervous to really move one way or another with things. So waivers and things like that, while they're great to implement, there's still not a foolproof plan here for how to actually reopen, and there hasn't been much guidance from the state. As far as collections, there is an uptick as expected. Associations are being much more proactive in ensuring that their collection policies are up to date and that they're enforcing them and properly protecting their assets.
Yeah, and on the business front, we've all seen businesses, retail, especially restaurants, that have been hurt because they're not able to have the same amount of customers coming into their establishments as they were able to do before COVID. What they try to do is get coverage, though, under their business interruption policies, under the GL policies that they have. And like we had discussed a couple episodes ago, we thought there was going to be some issues in getting coverage. And in fact, some of the courts that have ruled have all ruled the same and have all said that there is no coverage available. There's no physical damage that the businesses sustained to allow them to receive coverage under the business interruption policy. The carriers were able to rely on exclusions for viruses as well to prevent any coverage being obtained by these businesses. So they were also trying to get bills passed through legislatures, through the various states. Based on everything that we've seen, there were no bills that were actually passed into law for the reasons that we also ran through a couple weeks ago on our episodes, basically that there was going to be no way to mandate carriers to accept coverage and to pay coverage for these losses. It was just going to be astronomical, and it was not intended when carriers rated the policies and came up with premiums. There was no way for them to factor in that, and it wasn't something factored in because there was actual exclusions built into the policy for situations like this. So no bills have been passed. There's been no mandatory coverage, and the restaurants are doing the best that they can, and retail establishments are doing the best that they can at this point to try to keep their business going. But they are not getting any assistance from the courts, and that's the way that we think that keep on going. There's also a recent case that we talked about when we first talked about this topic in New Jersey. There's been nothing that's happened on that front. The case was occurred in Union County. The restaurant from Union County sued a New Jersey District Court against an insurance carrier, and we have no update to bring you because nothing's happened on the case yet. But we'll be sure to provide some additional information as things start to pick up in the courts on that front. But we all expect them to follow the same path that it's been on already. So enjoy the rest of your summer. We hope you enjoyed the recap. Stay tuned for the new content that we'll have. Keep following the Socially Distant Lawyer on YouTube, Instagram, and we'll be sure to see you next time.